Hi guys, welcome back to Classic Guitar Rock. I'm Jeremy. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscription button and click the bell for updates. You know, I saw an old episode, just cruising around YouTube, caught part of an old episode of that metal show, and it reminded me of something that really kind of shook me at the time when I heard it. But having gone back a little and listened to some music further back, it makes more sense. What I'm talking about is in an interview on that metal show, Michael Schenker mentioned that he was considered as one of the possible replacements for Mick Taylor when Mick Taylor left the Rolling Stones in the mid-70s. And when I first heard that, I thought, Michael Schenker and the Rolling Stones, how would that happen? How would that work? And I just thought that was crazy because at the time, you know, I was totally into MSG, love MSG. You know, the first 3 MSG albums, even Built to Destroy, the 4th album, great albums. And of course, Michael's work with UFO, I mean, that's what really put him on the map. And for my money, Michael Schenker's in the top 5 guitar players. I love Michael Schenker. I think he's phenomenal. But it just seemed like such an odd fit to have Michael Schenker in the Rolling Stones. They had also considered Peter Frampton, which to me, that makes a little more sense. Rory Gallagher. Now, Rory Gallagher, that could have been really awesome to see Rory in the Stones. Of course, as it turned out, Ron Wood went to the Stones, and I think that has worked out well. But, you know, I've kind of been going back over the last year or so, going back, listening to more of Schenker's earlier stuff with on Lonesome Crow, you know, the first Scorpions album when he's like 15 years old. But if you listen to the Phenomenon album, which came out in 1974, UFO's Phenomenon album came out. And that was the first album that Schenker cut with UFO, and I think he was 18. I can totally see, at the time, think about mid-70s, and at the time, I could totally see why the Rolling Stones would have been interested in Michael Schenker. And I can totally see how it might have worked looking at that snippet, that picture in time, because that Phenomenon album, now I might sound crazy when I say this, but if you have that album, or go to Spotify, go to iTunes, whatever, I want you to listen to the Phenomenon album. There are 4 or 5 songs. I'm not talking about Rock Bottom and Doctor Doctor, but other than those 2 songs, man, those sound pretty Rolling Stone-ish. Give it a listen. See if I'm crazy. But it makes more sense now if you think, you know, in context. Of course, the Stones weren't thinking about Michael Schenker in 1980 when MSG was happening. But in 75, you know, it makes sense, right? It makes sense. So anyways, I want you to go out and check out that Phenomenon album and tell me I'm crazy, but I don't think I am. And I see why in context that's not as wacky as it sounds. And just as an aside, you know, later on, Ozzy Osbourne was talking to Michael Schenker about coming into his band, and I don't know. Maybe that's worth another discussion. It's interesting to think about. But what would that have been like? 2 guys known for drinking way too much. I don't know if that would have been a good idea. Anyways, hey, if you haven't subscribed, please click that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you. Bye-bye.